What is going on, Team Prime? I'm back with another video. I want to make a new kind of a thing on the channel. It's gonna be part of the rant series, but it's gonna also be a little different. I'm gonna go over what I think should have been done about certain Transformer figures, like how certain figures should have came out and what could have been. So today we're gonna talk about Power of the Primes, Voyager class, Starscream. Now, I generally like this figure. I have my issues with him, but he's he's a decent Voyager Starscream. Now, what would have made him a perfect figure? Let's get into that. So, we all know what Combiner Wars Starscream looks like. Don't mind the gold. I tried painting that on. I was in the process of removing it before this video, so here we have Power of the Prime Starscream, who is a combiner. Now, this figure would have been perfect. Unfortunately, what most people have noticed is they put more effort into the combiner than the figure. And he's bulky. Also, I want to also point out, his arms look less bulky because I unscrewed the panels off of his arms. It actually helps the null rays, too. They actually peg in more without those panel bits sitting out. But now, what I would have done to make this a better figure, I wouldn't do anything in the combined mode. The combined mode is fine. What I would have done is found a way to make this. Because they've been doing this recently with certain Starscream figures. The leader class Starscream from Combiner Wars even has a fake jet nose on his chest. This has a fake jet nose, but at least it makes it look like his jet nose. Like, hold on, let me. And yes, this is the Scout Skywarp from a couple years ago. His thing disappears well enough to make it work. Like, it looks like his jet nose went to his back or went to his chest. The little Scout figure pulls it off better than a Voyager. I don't know. I would have found there should have been something to make this sit here and not back here. If the Seeker Mold can do it, then this can do it. I understand this is also, it has to turn into a combiner, but it could have been done somehow. Another thing that could have been dealt with a little bit more is this. The exposed combiner peg and the foot. It could have been dealt with a lot better. Like, they could have made his thighs a little more slim. What do I got? Yeah. Give me a sec. Grab him. Here we go. Combiner Wars Scattershot. Or the Silverbolt mold. When you look at this, you don't really see the combiner ports all that much. You just have, like with the knees, you don't see the combiner pegs. He has like chunky thighs, but like if you pull this down, there's the combiner peg. With Starscream, you can't really hide it all that well because the minute you put his feet down, oh look, there's combiner pegs. That's what we even figured out he was a combiner in the first place. I don't know. I personally kind of like these feet, but at the same time, I don't. If you do want to make better feet for your Power of the Primes Starscream, head on over to Shapeways and go to Fake Buster 83's page. He made some better feet for the figure, like some slimmer feet that actually sit inside the combiner peg. The feet are somewhat similar to Elita 1's feet. Like when you go into his jet mode, you can fold these up. But yeah. Now, before we tag the main issue of this figure, the null rays. I don't like these null rays. They don't look like a classic Starscream null ray. This looks like a gun that you would give to a random character like Scattershot because it fits his aesthetics. Oh, let me take this. Get this. Sorry, hold on. Get out. When you attach this to the Scattershot, it looks like it's supposed to be with him. These null rays would have been a little bit better if they didn't have to combine with his prime armor. And yes, unfortunately, my pegs that were sitting on top of the null rays broke off. And hold on, where's the null ray fell on the floor? Hold on. Got it. But the null rays aren't the greatest looking, but they're decent for what you can get. Again, if you want better null rays, head on over to FakeBuster83's page. He made some upgrade null rays for this figure, and they're pretty darn good. Now let's tackle the main issue. No, second to last thing before we get to the main issue. The ports for his null rays are on. They're not on his bicep swivel. They're on his shoulder. That is the one of my main gripes about this figure is because it's not on his bicep, so it's kind of his articulation kind of went out the window a little. If you have the wings in the way, he can only go out. 1, 2. With these on, he can only go out 2 clicks. If they would have been on his shoulder, his arm probably could have gone out 3 clicks. And with that also, they would be pointing upwards. Oh, sorry, you guys couldn't see that at all. I'm sorry. With them sitting on his bicep, they could have rotated like this and sat right here on the bicep. But no, they were stuck. They're stuck right there on his elbow. I have a feeling that's going to be the thing of the Siege Seekers, too. I really hope not, because I don't like them sitting this high up. It hinders the articulation. It just gets on my nerves. So, who knows? Maybe Siege Starscream will have the things right here on his elbow like Titans Return Galvatron did. But let's get into the main issue of this figure. This backpack piece. I hate this piece. This is the bane of my existence for this figure. Because, I don't know how well you guys are even going to be able to see this. Down. Right? Let me get the cockpit out of the way. Right there, that white peg. This thing does not like pegging in at all on my figure. Actually, if you move the cockpit out of the way, the backpack, he looks a lot nicer without the backpack on him. But once you bring it up, then he looks a little weird. I think it just adds on to the bulk of the figure. And, like, this guy could have been dealt with a lot more delicately. I don't know. This figure, while he's a good figure, he's not a great figure. Some of the bad things I like about, or the things I don't like about him are making me not want to buy the Voyager Elita 1. But then I remember I can fan mode things. So if I put his wings like this for Elita, then it don't look so bad. But with Elita, she'll have a bigger backpack. Or you could rotate her backpack down, and it'd still be out of the way. I don't know. Things could have been done to this figure, but they weren't. Now, if we didn't get Starscream in the Power of the Primes line, maybe if we got him in Titan's Return, he would have been stuck with a Headmaster gimmick, and people would have complained about him being a Headmaster. Honestly, if you guys remember last year during Titan's Return, I was expecting to get a Headmaster Starscream in the Titan's Return line out of the Trigger Happy mold. Did that happen? No. But what we got here is an okay figure. I wish he had certain parts of him done better. Like skinnier thighs, thinner feet, wings that actually tab in, and an actual cockpit nose. Like, where is he? Right here. If Studio Series Starscream can pull off the transforming jet nose, then why can't a G1 Starscream pull it off? Hold on. Now I gotta put that all the way back in. There we go. If this can pull it off, why can't this pull it off? I don't know. I would love to have this kind of a chest on this Starscream, like the folding cockpit, and his head would be right here. He could. This one can look up, can look left and right. Who knows? We don't know what Siege has to offer yet for the Decepticons. We know we're getting the Seekers and Megatron. So, who knows? We might get a better Starscream. Although it's going to be the Tetrajet, so he's not going to turn into his Earth jet mode. But, yeah. That's all for this video. If you guys do like this series of videos, let me know in the comment section below, and I will gladly do more of them. Because I've got quite a few figures in this room that I can talk about, tell you about what could have been done and what should have been done for these figures. And, like, bad decision-making on Hasbro's part. Hasbro generally does, like, I've never really had problems with Hasbro figures in the past. Like, Scattershot. He's a pretty good figure. I didn't like the wings that stuck out on him, but I grew to like him. Studio Series Starscream. I didn't think I was going to like him, but I love him. Hasbro really does make pretty good figures. Every now and then you can modify them to make them your own. Like I did here with Titan's Return Optimus Prime. There was never no jet mode on this figure. What are you guys talking about? There's no jet mode. By the way, I took out the jet mode, if you guys forget. Because I hated that thing. And I took out the ear gimmick. Like, there's certain figures out there that if you want to customize, customize. Your toy, do what you want. Me? I took out the things about him I didn't like. I can't really do the same with him because that's on a pin. And I can't really alter a pin. Screamer Wiener. I would say I should not do that because I would get demonetized. And then I realized, oh yeah, I can do it anyway because I've already been demonetized. Thanks, YouTube. But yeah. Starscream could have been better. Was he? No. Still a good figure? Yeah. If you want a really nice combiner Starscream, which this is, I don't know, I might look into seeing if somebody can make a new nose for jet mode that can, like, it would be a smaller nose for when he goes into his robot or his jet mode, because let me rotate this around. There's the nose for jet mode. If somebody can make it more like this, but more Starscreamy, I'll be into it. But yeah, that's really it. Again, or this, I don't know what I'm going to call this series, but it's more, it's rants, but I'll come up with a title at some point. So that is it for this video. Again, if you guys do like this video, let me know in the comments, and I'll make more of them. I'll talk about any other figure in my room that I've had bad experiences with. Also, I forgot to mention, I drilled ports into his forearm. So, I don't look that bad, but I don't do it that often. So, yeah, that's it for this video. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you all